What sites you know about them, though?
A little bit about their bathroom, their school,
Okay.
building their barns.
Okay.
That's it. I heard you shouldn't take the picture.
Why?
They don't like their images. They just, well, I don't know. That was the Ohio Amish. They didn't
Okay, well, that
like
goes
pictures.
back to the Ten Commandments of the graven image. That's one of the reasons. The other reason I was told, I don't know if it's true or not, but it's the thing you're going to find about the Amish. A lot of things you're told that aren't always the truth, but it sounds good, so you believe it. But the one I heard is that when you take a picture of an Amishman, when he dies and go to heaven, part of his soul stays in that picture on earth. So when he dies, he wants his entire soul to go with him. Whether or not that's true, we're finding out that could have been a fable. So, but I know definitely the Ten Commandments, thou shalt not make a graven image. They believe the picture's a graven image of themselves.
I had heard that too, but I didn't want to say it because I didn't know it was true.
We're all family here. No one makes fun of each other. Okay, over here on the right side, your basic Amish farm. The house is down the left in the very back. You have your barn. Beside the barn, they have a tall, in this case, it's a concrete structure. It's what they call a silo. Now the silo is an airtight container. All the field corn and all the alfalfa they grow in the fields, they chop up into small pieces. They have a blower, blows it to the top of that silo, and they'll fill that up with food. And then that keeps the food fresh over the winter months. Sometime around April, May, that'll go empty. They'll start drawing directly from the fields until next fall, they'll load that silo back up again for the winter. Now this guy last year tore his barn down. He had an older barn, it was a lot taller, like a lot of the old Amish farms you'll see on farm homesteads. Years ago, we had dairy cattle everywhere. The black and white Holstein cow. Every farm that we passed today would have had 50 to 80 of those cows. Only about 30% of the Amish still have dairy farms. They just found that it costs too much money to raise a cow than what they got in return on the milk. So this guy got rid of all his cattle, got rid of the old barn, and put up the new barn, which is more of a workshop. So a lot of the Amish today are building homes, they're making furniture and selling that. We have produce companies bringing produce in from all over the country and then redistributing it and selling it locally. Let's see, we have blacksmiths, we have clockmakers. The lady down here has a fabric shop, we'll see it soon. But that's what the Amish are basically doing today. There are not as many farmers and definitely not a lot of dairy farmers. We will pass one farm today, a guy has over 100 cattle. And then another couple of farms might have 60 or less. And then a couple more have 30 or less. And then the rest of them have a handful, just for their own personal use. The 7 farms we have in the area that actually grows food for humans. All the other farms you see are only growing field corn and alfalfa. That's for the animals, the cattle and the horses. But this guy will grow for humans. Now, since I'm not a farmer myself, I can't tell you what he's growing in there, other than I think there's a few rows of onions. And I knew last year he had potatoes, green beans, can't remember what else he had in there. He did have corn there. So it looks like it's coming back through the grass, but I'm not exactly sure. Then the next field over here, this guy had his pumpkins, his gourds, and his squash. And all these pumpkins, most of them got packed up and shipped over the other side of about 3 miles down the road. We'll pass a produce company where they got shipped to. And then from the produce company, also owned by Amish, then they get redistributed either locally or throughout the country to sell their land. they get $50,000 an acre. But the people buying the land were not farming the land. Instead, they were using it to put up shopping malls and apartment complexes. So that increased the value of the land. So nowadays, when a young Amishman wants to get started, wants to get a farm going, when land becomes available, it's well over $100,000 an acre. He can't afford it. So what the young ones are forced to do is buy English homes and then convert them to Amish homes. This house on the right is a perfect example. It was built for an Englishman, and now the Amish own it. What they found out is if they buy an English house, the bishop of the church would give them 30 days to get the electricity out of the house. And they found that instead of ripping all the wiring out of the walls, if they just simply took the meter off the outside of the home, it would shut off their electric use and they could live there. So if they ever decide to move and sell the property, they simply put the meter back on the house, they would have electricity again. And then at public auction, both Amish and English will bid on that property. There's a nice little herd of cattle here on the left. Majority of them are your black and white Holsteins, used strictly for milk. If you look in the middle of the back, you'll see a brown and white cow. Now the brown and white cow is called a Guernsey cow. The Guernsey has a lot of fat in the milk. So they use that milk to make ice cream, butter, and cheese. This other brown cow, kind of a light color brown, you see right in front of us, has a black face. That's called a Jersey cow. Now the Jersey cow has just a little bit of fat in the milk. So what the Amish will do is they'll take all the milk they produce from the Holstein cows, the black and white, in one day. And they'll add the milk from 2 Jersey cows to it. It just adds a little bit of fat to the milk, makes it a little bit healthier. But the Guernsey, the brown and white cow, that milk is always kept separate. The lab, the 2 gray buildings closest to us. This lady has a fabric shop, and she sells her fabrics to both Amish and to English. Now, if you notice on her roof, you'll see solar panels. The Amish started using solar panels around 1980. They use it on their fences to electrify them. Someone suggested they use it on a workshop for lighting, heat, cash registers, adding machines. So they went to the church. The elders and the bishop gave their okay. So today you're going to see a lot of businesses, Amish owned, with solar panels. You're going to see a lot of their houses with solar panels. And this little shack here underneath the tree at the end of their driveway also has a solar panel on it. That is their telephone. The Amish are allowed to have a telephone, but it must be kept in the most inconvenient place. It can never be inside the house. It can't be anywhere near the house. The Amish believe in God. They believe in Jesus. But their other way of getting to heaven is through hard work. By having that phone so far away from the house makes it harder to use. And that's going to help get them to heaven. The same thing goes with the black and gray buggies that you see on the road. These buggies will never ever have rubber tires. They're always solid steel. Main thing is when they go from point A to point B, they don't want a nice smooth ride. They want it as rough and hard as possible. That's also going to help get them to heaven. Used to be an English house and now belongs to the Amish. Usually you can tell an Amish house, a lot of times they have propane tanks in the back. Most of them have a garden, either in the front yard or the side yard. That's for their own use. However, if they have a surplus of only 1 or 2 items, they will set up a roadside stand and then sell it to the English. Not every Amish has a soft pretzel wagon though, but this guy does. Now remember, to use that, he'd have to hire someone English that has a truck that can move that vehicle to wherever he wants to take it to use it. Then he'd have to hire another person to bring it back home then. So he can own that piece, but he can't own the car to take it somewhere. He'd have to hire someone.